Do you want to make goals that will actually have a chance of succeeding? In this video, I'm offering tips that will help you create productive writing goals and identify how you can maintain the will to actually carry them out. Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan Morton and this is The Confident Writer, where I offer tips that help writers improve their mental health, craft, and career. Today is all about goals. First, I'm going to start off with the hard truth. Goals are your responsibility. It is up to you and only you to realize the goal and the success that comes from it. Later in the tips section, I'll be offering 2 ways to create goals and 3 ways to maintain them. But for now, let's look at what defines a goal and what makes it worth following. The sum of every worthwhile goal can be broken down into these 4 elements: why, 2 hows, and commitment. So let's start with why, the most important part of the goal equation. Why have this goal in the first place? To discover this, we ask, what's going on in our life right now? What needs to change? Or perhaps, what would be so amazing if this thing were to happen to you? What is that dream, desire, or wish that burns in your heart to become a reality? What makes your life meaningful? Think of these things as your purpose. If you're having trouble with this, I have a video that I will link below that will help you figure out what your purpose is for yourself. Then start to take action by asking, how will you know when you've accomplished your goal? Then, how are you going to get there? These questions can take you down several roads, which I'll explore later, but all of this is for nothing if you don't plug in the last part of the equation, commitment. There are those that are curious, plan, dream, criticize, and watch. Then there are those who make a commitment to get things done. Those few are the people who have the determination to follow through with the actions they have chosen to undertake. As all the planning in the world is for nothing if you are committed to wasting your time instead of your goal. Let me get more personal with this. If you're spending your writing time on social media, your actions prove that you're committed to social media, or maybe distraction, not your writing. If social media is important, then set aside a time specifically for that and know what your goal is for social media. So now that we have the formula of making a goal, how do we go about making it a reality? In the following tips, I have 2 goal creation methods that I find work in different ways. The first one, SMART goals, is more for when you're seeking an objective, something finite in nature. The second, habit-driven goals, are designed for maintenance and the creation of bigger dreams. Also, some of the questions that helped me in the following tips can be found in the Change Plan worksheet. I'll put a link to the file for it below. On its own, it serves as a great base for any goal creation system, but because of that, I found that putting it in the tips section might get a little repetitive. So, let's go on to tip number 1. SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. These factors are the backbone of the SMART goal system. Let's start with specific. The specific goal answers 5 W questions. Who is involved? What do I want to accomplish? Where will I accomplish it? When will I do it? And why do I want to do this? For example, your writing goal may be to write every day. That's a great goal. But a specific goal would say, every morning I'm going to wake up at 4:30 a.m. to do my daily routines. Then go upstairs by 5 a.m. to start writing. So we have a goal, but how do we determine if it's working? Well, you make it measurable. What milestones are there to reach? What dates do these things have to be done by? These are the questions that you should be asking. Let's say you're editing your story and you have 2 weeks to complete a particular section of it. We have the goal and target date, but to make it measurable, let's break it down into the number of pages we need to complete and split them up between the number of days we have. Let's say that comes to about 3 pages a day. I would also recommend in this case to have some time to make up for sick days and things like that, but I think you get what I'm saying. Then, see how it works and save this data for later. That's the amazing thing about measurability. It gives us the data we need to appropriately plan projects in the future, as well as adjust how we work on these projects. What's important is that we get it as concrete as possible, because we want our goals to be attainable. Sticking with this 2-week deadline scenario, we need to ask ourselves, what are we going to actually do to get those 3 pages edited each day? Tips 3, 4, and 5 talk about this more, but for now, think about what tasks you need to do, what your schedule looks like, and the belief you have in yourself / the supports you have to complete this goal. The next step is to be realistic. This part of the SMART goals gets put up for debate a lot because some goals are just not obtainable. They are just dreams or large ambitions that few achieve. For the writer, this could be becoming someone who makes millions off of their books. For the athlete, this could mean turning pro. How many people actually make it to those levels of success? This does not mean we don't work on our goals. It simply means we need to make sure that we are keeping our ambitions in check. Because unfortunately, passion is not enough. Yes, we need to bring our passion, but we must not let it blind us to other opportunities that may present themselves in our lives. Because when we look at the people who did not become the million-dollar booksellers or star athletes, we can look at their lives and see that a large portion of them that didn't make it to that level of success are still successful and have fulfilling lives. Why is that? Because they allowed themselves to look for other opportunities that fed into or became new passions for them. So I like to look at realistic as the way in which we figure out how to get where we want to be, developing the abilities, attitudes, skills, and financial capacity to reach these goals, instead of gunning towards the passion. One way to do this is to ask ourselves and get feedback on these 2 questions. Do I have the attitudes, abilities, skills, and financial capacity to achieve this goal? And have I ever achieved something like this goal in the past? These 2 questions should help you get on the right track. This finally leads to the last portion of the SMART goals, which is timely. SMART goals need to have a time frame as it adds a sense of urgency that compels you to act. What's important at this stage is that you have a compelling reason for that time. A deadline is certainly one, but what if you don't have one? Making one up just to have one can work, but it's definitely less likely to. And since a lot of writers don't have a particular reason to hit those personal deadlines, you need to make one. It could be simple, like imagining yourself working on this first book for years and never finishing it. You can have someone hold you accountable, or have them hold back a reward if you don't get it done in a certain amount of time. There are many ways to make a deadline personal. Find out what works for you. And those are the 5 elements of the SMART goal system: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Sometimes, however, you know the change you want, but the goal is harder to define, or maybe it's based on a skill which is hard to figure a time frame for. What do you do then? Well, I would suggest trying tip number 2, habit-based goals. Another name I've heard for habit-based goals is DUMB goals. Dream, uplifting, method, which is basically habit, and behavior-driven, which I think is funny, but it works because sometimes a dream is not measurable, timely, or realistic. This could be because it's too far off, or it could be because it's something based on a skill like art, writing, and athletics. Usually they have to do with our big dreams or our destiny, if you will. But how do we create a method for achieving these type of goals? Well, I have a few steps that could help with that. Step 1. Go back to the goal equation and look at the why and the 2 hows that go into making a goal. And just like the SMART goals, you're trying to make it as specific as you can. There's no avoiding this part of the goal making process if you want to actually make a goal that works. Step 2. Rate that goal on a scale of 1 to 10. How are you doing at this goal currently? Write down a sentence or 2 relating to how you feel about the success or satisfaction you feel towards this goal in your life. Now here's the hard part. Step 3. Ask yourself, what 3 habits do I need to implement in order to achieve this goal? Then after a week, examine what's working and what's not working, and repeat steps 2 and 3 until your goal is reached. I hope one of these goal making strategies works for you, but there is something that you need to prepare for no matter how you decide to make a goal. And this leads me to number 3, identify barriers. Once you have the why and the how of the goal taken care of, commitment is the one that is going to be hit the hardest. This is why you need to plan in advance. Run simulations on nightmare scenarios, plan for hurdles, and be able to beat your future self. To do this, make a list of at least 10 barriers and write down how you're going to overcome them. I like using a sheet like this because I'm very visual and it shows me the hurdles I need to overcome. But you know yourself, so have a list of quotes and tools already available for when this stuff comes up. If it's going to a social media site, find an app that turns it off for a certain period of time. If it's simply getting up early in the morning, move that alarm across the room so you actually have to get up to turn it off. Be creative, because we are creative when we decide to avoid or stop doing something. Speaking of getting stuff done, this takes me to tip number 4. Live by a calendar, not a to-do list. To-do lists are okay in the idea phase, but studies show most to-do lists don't get done. Instead, carve out a time of day for the task you need to get done. Just put it in your calendar. Here's a tip inside this tip. Try breaking whatever it is you have to do into 20-minute chunks and rest for 5 minutes. In between those increments, you can change the time a little bit or even skip a few of the breaks if you want to if you're in a writing flow. But what's important is that you're working 100% during those 20-minute chunks. I guarantee you'll see progress once you start implementing this idea. But now, let's get to tip number 5. Believe that you can actually achieve your goals. A lot of the time we set ourselves up for failure before we even figure out our goals. There is this part of us that I believe will always be there that says you can't do this. Sometimes it's the fear of rejection, believing some sort of lie about ourselves, or there is some actual truth to what we are saying. Something holding on to us that we don't have control of. We take that and make it who we are instead of noting it as a barrier and figuring out how to overcome it despite our circumstance. It won't be easy, but I have some suggestions that might help. First, stop hanging around negative people and wallowing in their bad experiences. When your primary focus is on failure rather than how to make your life more successful, what do you think is going to happen? Your mind is not going to look for those positive opportunities, and you're more likely to give up as it is just the way things are. So, build or find a support network that believes in your goals. Second, start recognizing the positive things about yourself. Make a list of what you're good at and add proof as to why. If there is nothing you are good at, then it's time to learn something new, isn't it? But John, it's too hard. I've never succeeded before at anything in my life. You don't understand my circumstances. Maybe we've just found out what's been holding you back. So what if you've never succeeded before? Because first of all, that's a lie. You've done many things, but just don't see the significance in them. Plus, think about this logically. Did your favorite author become an author before they succeeded at it? Or did they take time and work to get there? It's something to think about. Third, keep affirmations and positive quotes handy. You may have heard me talk about this one before, but I've got a new idea that can play into this. Write down your goals, then record yourself talking about them in the present tense. I am a published author. I write every day. I think you've got the idea. I hope today's talk has helped you form better goals and improved your confidence as a writer. If so, please let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell, because subscriptions don't always notify you anymore for some reason. And if you think anyone would benefit from today's topic, share, as it may be the thing they need to hear today. Thank you again for watching, and as always, don't forget to learn, create, and help others do the same. I'll see you next time.